Everyone. Welcome to the last session, session number 10. All we're going to do right now is wrap up. I just want to make sure that I share some final piece of advice with you and you have all the necessary resources you need to ensure you that some of your outreach efforts are successful. All right, let's dive in for one last time. This is the agenda. Like I said, going to share some final thoughts and share some resources. For the very first thing you want to be doing is constantly going back to your funnel and iterating it. I don't see enough people doing this because what they'll end up doing is activating a channel, making sure that it works, and they'll never go back to it. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, this is fine. No, you want to constantly go back and see, okay, fine, how can I further improve this? What optimization steps could I do? What needs to be done to make sure that I can get the maximum amount of value from this channel? So please make sure you go back and optimize your funnel at week over week, month over month, quarter over quarter. Okay, constantly make sure that you can achieve those necessary growth metrics. Okay. Another thing you want to do is understand where cold email fits in your funnel, in the sense like which levers do I need to push or pull. Meaning, cold email is a great channel to start conversations and to keep conversations going, but what happens before and beyond that? Okay, so constantly think about that and think about how you can constantly improve that. We talked about this earlier throughout the course, is that you want to be ruthless around your conversion across the funnel. It doesn't mean anything if you're able to generate all these conversations and book all these meetings and no opportunities are being developed or no deals are being closed. So you want to be looking at everything across the funnel to say, okay, fine, I'm able to confidently bring in this many prospects and book this many meetings, generate this many opportunities, and close this many deals, right? So this comes more to marketing ops and sales ops. But again, be very ruthless around your conversion. Eventually, you do want to migrate into CRM. I see that a lot of individuals, for some reason, don't like to operate our CRM. They like to operate on Google Sheets. This is a recipe for disaster. If you're talking about scaling cold email as a channel or cold outreach as a channel, eventually you need to get a CRM. You have so many options out there. I'm not going to name them because you have the usual suspects in there. But my only suggestion is don't add everyone to the CRM when you're doing outreach. Only add the necessary people that you're actively prospecting or the individuals that have showed some level of interest and now they're going into your prospecting cycle. Okay, so from a cold email perspective, only take the people who are interested and throw them into CRM so you can actively work them and see, okay, fine, what do I need to do to make sure that these individuals are pushed further along the funnel. Another thing that I see a lot of individuals not taking advantage of, especially if they're from like slightly bigger companies, is understanding what content or assets they have already that they can leverage in their existing campaigns or next campaigns. So really think about that. If you do have a marketing department, reach out to them and be like, hey, planning to do some of these cold email campaigns. I have a pretty good infrastructure in place, but like, what are some of the assets I can leverage, beyond case studies? Is there a white paper? Is there a really good blog post that did really well? Is there some interview series? Can I invite somebody for our interview series? Right? So really think about that as well. Just some additional resources for you to think about and for you to utilize. First of all, like you definitely learn how to leverage Growth University. Growth University has some great other courses and on how to activate some other channels. So think about how you can use some of those channels with cold email outreach. One of the examples there could be, for instance, is influencer outreach, right? I'm seeing a lot more individuals who want to reach out to YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram influencers. They'll use cold email to do that respective outreach, and then they will get the conversation started and then utilize that influencer for one of their other efforts, right? This could be on the B2B or B2C side, right? So definitely learn how to use Growth University as a way to figure out what's the best way to use cold outreach in combination with other channels, right? It's what we were talking about in the last lesson, which is about omni-channel outreach. There's a bunch of really interesting people you can follow on LinkedIn, Twitter. I've put some of them here that I personally follow. Um, this is specific for sales, but don't only look at sales. Look at other individuals who are out there that are relevant to your industry and your space, because you want to get specific with some of the vernacular that's out there and make sure that you're using the same words that they're using, right? And you're constantly educating yourself about your prospects problems, and just in terms of your field of professional development. Okay. Last but not least, you probably want to also sign up for various newsletters and blogs. They're industry specific. So, like for instance, I'm very focused on the venture funded plays. So I look at C-Table and Crunchbase. I sign up to their newsletters and I try to figure out okay which companies are coming up and running. And each of those also have like I think features to help you identify further in those industries, right? Then I also sign up for a bunch of newsletters that help me inspire, not just within the cold email space. But for instance, there's one called Marketing Examples, which kind of tells you all these really cool stories about how other companies have executed really cool marketing campaigns, not specific to cold email. You know, another one is Email Mastery, which is specific to email marketing, on like what type of campaigns you can run from an email marketing perspective, right? Then there's another one called Knowledge X, which is a cold email agency. They send out emails on how to optimize your cold email agency. And then last but not least, there's the Growth Mentor blog, which I also follow. Um, I listen to quite a bit of podcasts. Again, this is specific for the sales and outreach space. There's Salesman, Top 1 FM, High in Sales, Sales Hacker, Renegade Marketers. There's a bunch that is specific to the industry, but then I also look at some stuff, listen to some stuff that's very inspirational, like Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History, right? Craig also has a great podcast, which I also do listen to from the growth marketing perspective. But essentially, you want to be listening to various podcasts to ensure that you know you're staying up to date with what's happening in your industry, and you're refining some of your professional development efforts, right? Um, Last but not least, I'm starting to get into memes a little bit, but this is one of my favorite ones. It's like I don't always experiment, but when I do, it's experiential learning. So for those who know who this individual is, you'll get it through. If you don't, then I highly recommend you look up Dosaki's the most interesting man in the world, and then this will be funny for you. But again, I would encourage you to constantly be experimenting and constantly learning from those experiments and putting that into some of that practice. And last but not least, thank you so much for taking this course. I hope you've learned a ton. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. My email is ahan@growthrhino.com. I'll send you a Calendly link. We can book some time, and I'm happy to review copy, your strategy, whichever. Just let me know. I'm available. But with that said, thank you so much for participating, and best of luck.